Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. My name is Cassandra and I'm going to take you through this 20-minute morning yoga practice focusing on twists and hips. So a really great way to give yourself a little boost of energy in the morning and to really stretch everything out so that you can feel really good. I would say this is a beginner to intermediate level flow. I'll be sure to give you guys lots of options, and I'm not using any props. None are required. However, if you prefer to have them, if you have some blocks at home, definitely just keep them close by in case you want to use them. We're going to begin sitting. So I'm just going to do a cross-legged position, something that allows me to connect my sit bones to the ground and to really lengthen my spine, to drop the shoulders down and away from the ears, and just close your eyes for a breath or two here. And when you close your eyes, you can play with just rocking your weight forward and backwards, side to side, just so that you can find that neutral alignment where you're really stacking and aligning yourself, reaching the crown of your head up, drawing your lower belly in, and we'll try to breathe in and out through the nose as we flow. And because this class will have a lot of spinal twists, we want to first establish this connection, finding our posture. And we'll begin with a little bit of a side bend. So reach your left arm all the way up towards the sky, maintain this length, and then you can reach your left arm up and over. I'm just letting my right hand support me here. Drop your left shoulder away from your ear and let your head be heavy. Keep pushing down into your left sit bone so you're not completely lifting and tilting off of your mat. Big side body stretch. And lift all the way back up through to center. Find that length again here along the left side of your body, and you're just going to bring your left hand to your right knee. You can bring your right fingertips back behind you and find our first twist here as we rotate over to the right. So we're trying to keep our hip bones facing forward. Draw your lower belly in towards your lower back. Try not to slouch or round forward. One more deep breath in through the nose. And exhale, coming back through to center. And we'll find those two poses on the other side. So right arm extends up and then into your side body stretch. So this is lateral flexion. You can relax your head. Push down into your right hip and right sit bone. Relax your shoulder away from your ear. No tension in your jaw. Stretching all the way back up through to center, preparing for our twist. This time, right hand goes to your left knee. Left fingertips go behind you for support. Maintain the length in your spine even as you rotate. So slide your shoulder blades down your back. One more deep breath in. And release on the exhale. I'm going to turn to face towards the top of the mat so you can see me a little bit better. Coming into your butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees apart, and you can just hold on to your ankles or your shins or your feet, whatever is accessible to you here. And we're just going to do cat and cow from this position. So as you inhale, you're going to try to lift your chest up, squeeze your shoulder blades behind you, and you can kind of pull on your ankles to help this along. And as you exhale, round and contract, drop your chin to your chest. A few more like this. So inhale, open up. And exhale to round. 3 more. Keep trying to press your knees down. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. And exhale. Coming back to a neutral spine, find a modified boat pose so you can bring your knees back in towards one another, rock back, hold onto the back of your thighs, and see if you can just float. Lift your chest up, squeeze your shoulder blades behind you. So finding that first little bit of core engagement. If you'd like, you can release the arms, really working on hip flexor strength here. Lower belly is engaged. Release, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Plant your hands shoulder width distance apart. Fingertips are spreading wide, feet are hip width distance apart as you lift up and back. And it's our first downward dog, so just move in any way that feels intuitive to you here as we try to straighten our arms, to lift our seat, to draw the lower belly in. So there's a little bit of abdominal engagement, and you can absolutely have your knees bent as much as you'd like. Think of reaching your chest towards your thighs, relax your head, relax your neck. And let's take a cleansing breath. So we inhale through the nose and let out a big sigh out the mouth. Three-legged dog, right leg rises, bend your right knee, open up your hip, give yourself a big stretch, and we'll come into our high lunge, Ashtachandrasana. Step your right foot to the top of the mat. Make sure your feet are hip width distance apart rather than being one in front of the other. This will help with your balance. And then extend your arms up overhead. I'm bending into my back knee a little bit here because I have a bit of a sway back. So this helps me keep my hips directly underneath my shoulders. I also get a deeper stretch into my left thigh, which is what I'm looking for. You're welcome to stay where you are. If you'd like to add on, we're going to do an open arm twist. Left arm forward, right arm back. Push your palms down. Notice if you've tilted forward, try to shift your upper body back. So as much as possible, you're keeping those shoulders stacked over your hips. Both hip bones are facing forward. We all transition to our easy twist, left hand down, right arm up. Keeping that back knee lifted off the mat, maybe looking up towards your right thumb. And we'll find a wide-legged forward fold from here. So drop your right hand down to the mat, walk your hands over towards the left, and you're going to spin that right foot in so that both feet are parallel to the shorter edges of your mat as you fold on down. Big stretch through the back of the legs. Notice if you're leaning all the way back into your heels or maybe all the way forward into the balls of your feet. Try to find a neutral stance so that your body weight is distributed evenly from back to front and side to side. And again, you might choose to stay here. If you'd like to add a twist, you're going to walk your hands out in front of you, come up onto your fingertips. So my hands are roughly underneath my chest. Left hand stays down, right arm stretches up to the sky. If this is too much, feel free to leave it out. Big opening here. And we'll go to the other side, right hand down, inhale, left arm up. And release. Let's all walk our hands towards the top of the mat. We're going to come into our dragon pose. So you might want to widen your feet even more so that both hands are to the inside of your right leg. And I'm going to drop my back knee down. It's up to you. You can do this with the knee lifted or the knee lowered. And maybe you're just working the pose from here, getting a big hip stretch. If you'd like, you can also lower down onto your forearms. If you have some blocks at home, you can always have your hands up on blocks or underneath your chest or your forehead. But just give yourself a good 5 slow, steady breaths here in the pose. You might start to ask yourself what kind of intention you'd like to set for your day. Maybe just by picking one word that captures what's important to you today or how you want to feel. Doesn't have to be something that you overthink, just whatever comes to mind. So for me, that's compassion, And give yourself another breath here. And if you were down on your forearms, you can come back up onto your palms. Either go right away to downward facing dog, or you can take a vinyasa. So taking your flow from plank pose, lowering down, cobra, or your upward facing dog. I'm just going to do cobra here. And we all meet back, downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, lifting the hips up and back. And really stretch out long here. Let's take another cleansing breath in down dog. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. Second side, three-legged dog, left leg rises, bend your left knee, open up your hip, and we'll find our high lunge. So remember to keep your feet on train tracks as opposed to a tightrope. Press to lift yourself up. I'm bending into my back knee a little bit before extending my arms up. And maybe you choose to stay facing forward, or you add your open arm twist. Right hand forward, left arm back, palms facing down. Try not to lean, really shift your weight back. Keep a deep bend in that front knee. Easy twist, right hand down, left arm up. So I'm stacking my left shoulder over my right. Transitioning to our wide-legged forward fold. So left hand comes down to the floor. Walk your hands towards the right side of your mat. Turn your left toes in. So both feet are in line with each other, toes and heels. And your feet are aligned to the shorter edges of your mat as you fold. Try to relax any tension from your neck and from your jaw. Maybe just hold this variation of the fold, or if you did it on the first side and want to do it again, we're going to add that same twist. Walk your hands out in front of you. Right arm reaches up towards the sky. Maybe looking up, only if that's okay for your neck. And release, twist to the other side. Left arm rises. And release. We'll meet in our dragon pose. So walk your hands and spin your feet so you're facing towards the top of the mat. Widen your left foot over towards the edge of your mat so that you can have both arms to the inside. Knee can be up or down. I'm going to do the knee down variation. And maybe stay up here on your palms, or you can lower down onto your forearms. Try to push into your big left toe and let gravity melt your hips down towards the floor. Sliding your shoulder blades down your back. Two more deep breaths here in the pose. And if you are on your forearms, you can slowly lift back up onto your palms, either going right away to down dog where we will meet you, or taking a vinyasa, finding plank pose first, chaturanga, cobra, or your upward facing dog. And we are all meeting downward facing dog, lifting our hips up and back. Take a cleansing breath here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Go ahead and reach your right leg up towards the sky again. We're going to bend that right knee, open up the hip, and this time let's come to Warrior 2. So Virabhadrasana 2, your right foot steps to the front of the mat, back foot spins parallel to the shorter edge of your mat as you lift on up. And again here, I'm stacking my shoulders over my hips. I'm trying to push my right knee open before extending my arms out. So deep stretch into our hips here. And let's reverse, left hand down, right arm up, big side body stretch. Coming into our pigeon pose from here, you're going to bring both palms to frame your front foot. at the top of the mat. I'm lifting my back heel off the mat, and I'm just going to bring my right knee behind my right wrist. I have a bit of a 90-degree angle. You don't need to have that. At home, you might have your heel a little bit more towards your left thigh, which is totally fine. It really depends a lot on your existing flexibility and also just your anatomy, how your hips are shaped. Try to distribute your weight evenly so you're not completely rolling over onto that right thigh and that right hip. So take a moment here to find that space, and then I'll give you an option. You can either hold where you are, you can do traditional pigeon pose, folding forward, or if you'd like, you can add a twist even here by threading your left arm underneath you and bringing that left shoulder and left ear down to the floor. Maybe you keep your right hand pushing into the ground to help you twist. You can also bring your right hand towards your lower back, or maybe grabbing a hold of that foot. So the twist is optional. Leave it out if it does not feel good for you this morning. Take 5 breaths in whichever variation of the pose you've chosen. And if you were in a twist and had this bind, you can release the hold of the foot and we'll all just unwrap. So if you were in that twist, lift yourself back up and just take a moment here to pause and really lengthen crown of your head, stretch out along the spine. And we're just going to come to take a seat. So walk your hands back and then go ahead and lean over onto your right sit bone and swing that left leg forward for a seated twist. So I'm going to cross my left leg over. My left foot is planted on the mat. I'm going to push my left hip down so both sit bones are in contact with the floor. I'm going to reach my right arm up towards the sky, stretch up nice and tall, and then maybe hook your right arm to the inside of that left thigh over towards your knee. And you can bring your left hand back behind you for support as you twist a little bit deeper. So we're twisting to the left. Our hips are facing forward. Try not to slouch or round. Stay lifted up nice and tall. And release to face forward, Navasana boat pose, any variation. So you can do like we did at the beginning of class, maybe holding on to the back of your thighs. If you'd like, you can straighten the legs and straighten the arms. Downward facing dog, cross at the ankles, plant the palms, step your feet back. Either hold this downward facing dog or take your flow, inhaling plank pose, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Inhale through the nose, sigh it out the mouth. Second side, left leg rises, bend your left knee, open up that hip. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. So left foot forward, back heel spins. Before you lift on up, stacking your shoulders over your hips, palms facing down, squeezing that left knee and thigh open. Try to settle in the pose. Come back to the intention you want to set for yourself today. And we can reverse, right hand down, left arm up, big side body stretch. And this will carry us through into our pigeon pose. So both hands come down to the mat to frame that front foot, lift your back heel, and just place your left knee somewhere behind your left wrist. And take a moment just to evenly distribute your body weight through both hips. And if your hips are lifted up really high, you can always put your block underneath if you have one at home. And maybe you'll choose to just stay lifted up tall in pigeon pose, or you can fold on down. If you twisted on the first side, we're going to twist again here. This time your right arm will thread underneath you, shoulder and ear lower down to the mat, either pushing into the floor or adding your bind. 5 breaths in the pose. Try to melt into it a little. Two more breaths. And if you were in the twist, take your time to ease out. And really taking a moment centered to elongate through your spine. So reaching through the crown of your head, pressing your shoulders away from your ears. And we can walk our hands back. This time we're coming to a seated twist again. So you're going to lean onto your left hip and left leg so that you can bring that right leg out in front of you and cross your right foot over your left thigh. Both sit bones are anchored to the mat, hugging your thigh towards your center. Lift your left arm up. And as you exhale, you can bring that elbow towards the top of the knee, just so you have something to push against. Right hand goes behind you as you open to the right. This is half Lord of the Fishes pose, Ardha Matsyendrasana. See if you can draw your lower belly in and up. This will allow you to twist a little more. And uncurl to face forward, Navasana, boat pose, any variation that you would like here. We're not here for too long. And downward facing dog. This is your last opportunity to come into downward dog and to take a vinyasa. So we can flow from plank and lower elbows in. Find a back bend. And our last little downward dog as we push back into the heels and lift our seats. And let's bring our knees down to the mat and just come to take a seat. So usually in yoga classes, we end in Shavasana. When I do morning classes here online, I like to close by sitting instead of lying down. I don't want you to fall back asleep. And before we close fully, see if you can bring your right leg slightly staggered in front of your left one. And you're just going to walk your hands out in front of you and fold. You might be up high, you might be low, like what I'm doing here. Just trying to gently stretch through our right hip one last time. The gentle forward fold. And you can push your hands into the ground to lift back up and switch the cross of your legs so your right shin is in front of the left one and fold on down. Slowing down your breathing, slowing down your heart rate, lifting back up. And now just sit in any way that is comfortable to you. Hands can come to the tops of your knees, shrug your shoulders down and away from your ears. And as we close our practice together, give yourself a moment to really commit to an intention for your day. What is important to you? What do you want to focus on? It can be as simple as one word or a simple phrase. And once you have this anchored, we'll join our hands together at the front of the heart, closing together by chanting Om one time. Let's inhale to chant. Breathe in deep. Om. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing this morning yoga practice with me with lots of twists and hip openers. I hope you feel really good and ready to begin your day. Let me know what your intention is. Just leave me a comment. Let me know how this went for you. Please subscribe if you don't already. And I have probably hundreds upon hundreds of morning yoga classes by now. So if you would like to make this a habit, definitely check out the rest on my channel. And maybe we'll practice again tomorrow morning. Thank you so much.